Hey, this is Adam with ROAS Media. Just want to go over this case study really quickly. How we got 10.4 times ROAS and 8 times ROI for a contractor within 90 days of them starting Google and Facebook ads with us. So initially, when they came back to us in October, they had been using another company for the past 2 months, and the company spent around $22,000, I believe. $25,000 in Google ads, $6,000 in Facebook ads. And they only got 20 leads out of it in general. So the lead I'm talking about is a sales qualified lead, name, email, phone number, willing to get an estimate today. And then they give us our zip code as well. That's a sales qualified lead, and that's what counts for them to get services on the board so their installation teams can sell them and their install teams can install them. So that's what happened. So we have a breakdown of that report somewhere here. One of these links to the report, but it shows you the analysis we did in their Google Ads account. We looked at the Facebook Ads account. It didn't really need us to go through a detailed analysis of what happened because we were just going to start over from scratch anyway. But the Google Ads, they spent the most amount of money on, so we wanted to figure out what happened in that campaign. So I detailed that in a brief, one of the buttons here. And if it's not here, I'll put it here. But the numbers of what happened, we kept track of January, February, March, and at the very end of this, you'll see I broke down everything per spend on the platform, so Google Ads and Facebook. So this is up until March, and the conclusion is 17 grand spent in Facebook, 3 grand spent in AdWords. We took over AdWords initially. They thought we were too expensive, so they went somewhere else, and then they came back to us because they got very little results from the other company. So this is 1 month spend, and then the updated for April, they came back April 15th. We spent the rest of the budget in April and got them back at 28 or 20, almost a 20 times return investment on their Google ad spend. So overall, they got a 10 times return on ad spend. That means the amount of revenue to their business was 10 times the amount that we spent on advertising, and the 8 times ROI means return on ad spend is the amount of money that they made on our ad spend minus ad spend, including our retainer. So 8 times ROI is what they are shooting for. Actually, 8 times ROAS is what HVAC companies typically need to shoot for, especially for advertising, because they're spending a certain amount of their advertising budget, which is bringing all their business. So how we break it up is this company was spending 12% of their total revenue on their advertising. So their advertising needs to bring in 100% of their revenue. So that is 8 times of what they spend needs to come back in business. Now, we broke that up into lead costs, and then we went after the specific leads for each platform that we knew we can bring in for them at a good cost. So we spent almost 18 grand on Facebook, brought in about 300 leads total. I think the average lead cost for Facebook was around $25. Let me see. I can do it real quick for you. This divided by 310, $56 for average lead cost. Projected lead, the lead goal was $95, so we were about 50% less than their projected, than their lead goal that we need to meet. This included everything that we did on Facebook. Yes, okay. So $56 for Facebook, and then Google Ads, we spent $4 grand. Came in right at about our lead cost of $95 per lead for install leads, and right under 6 times return on investment for the first month. So the first month for Google Ads and Facebook typically are ramping up. We only got budget for the first month in this conclusion, but in April we continued our campaigns. The other company had built other campaigns. We just got rid of those and used the ones that we had already built. Spent about $1,500 in those campaigns and got $28,000 back. So kind of redeemed ourselves in the 4th month. 6 times ROI is not the best. I mean, a lot of companies will kill for that, but for HVAC companies, your sales team needs sales, and you need at least 8 times ROI, or 8 times ROAS, excuse me, for your advertising. It didn't happen in the first month. Typically, we tell clients we're going to need 90 days to optimize campaigns. Typically, within 30 to 45 days, we are meeting your lead goal, and then after that, we're focusing on positive ROI for your campaign. A lot of times, we can get it done within the first 2 weeks, but still, no matter what it is, we've done a ton of work in the HVAC space, so that's usually quicker. But if you are building a brand new campaign for Google Ads, they've never advertised for the specific thing in this area, what have you, it can take a little more time inside Google to figure out what keywords are going to convert on the landing pages and what landing pages are going to convert in your specific market. So we have a general idea of what's going to work. That's why we got a 6 times ROI initially. But to narrow that down is usually per market, per service, per market. So you can see that the second month we did Google, it was an outstanding success. Same thing with Facebook. This one, 48. I mean, at the very end of Facebook, we got lead costs down to about $40 per lead, which is well under the goal that we had set. So you can see here that Facebook here, $800, got 110 leads. That's around $46 per lead. Google, $14.34 spend, 36 leads. That's around, I don't want to do the math. Let's say $50 a lead, a little less than that. And then ROI was pretty good. So in April, 15 times ROAS, 11 times ROI. So that's the case study here. If you read through here, we did a bunch of things for Facebook. Mainly was ad testing. So we tested about 16 different ads every 2 weeks or so. And then we did retargeting for everything, not just Facebook ads. Brand new ads, yep. So that was the main thing we did in Facebook. We structured it correctly when we went after installations. Make sure we find the right hook, the right offer for those specific installations. And then Google, it was really about campaign structure. And then after you get the campaign structure correct, the landing page, you have to get it correct, obviously. And then it's really about fine-tuning. These remain the search ads. It's mainly about fine-tuning the keywords you're going after. So for the previous campaigns, you can see that they had, let's take this boiler estimate search campaign. They had boiler heating and boiler repair, boiler estimate search. I mean, so these are nonsensical campaigns. And then if you look inside the campaign, you'll see different types of keywords, not even focusing on what the ad group is focusing on. So they didn't get a good result, obviously. We narrowed that down. Heating, tankless, ductless, all those specific things were focused on one specific service inside each campaign. And then the ad groups focused on ad group. It's ad group keyword grouping, but it's basically, if you're going to look at ductless installations near me, ductless installations in my city, those type of things are inside one ad group, and you build out ad groups around those specific keywords. So you want to have a tight-knit group of keywords inside each ad group. Each ad group is typically around, I'd say, I try to keep it less than 10 keywords to get it really, really narrowed down. Especially if we're going to a new market, we're not doing any automated bidding at first. Later on, you can branch out the ad groups into broad match ad groups and then exact match ad groups. Typically, you try to stay away from phase match as much as possible. Usually, it's exact match initially, and then once you get the keywords correct, then you expand out. If you need more, if you need to spend more budget, go out to broad match ad groups or broad match targeting for your ad group. Broad match keywords, only 1 or 2 broad match keywords per ad group maximum, so you can really hone in on what you're spending your dollars on. So hopefully this helps you. This is hopefully not a long-winded explanation. But anyway, talk to you soon.